The time is now 5:36, and I hereby call this special city council meeting to order. Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Mr. Alamin?
Present.
Dr. Lewis is not in. Ms. Priestley?
Present.
Ms. Winfrey Carter is not in. Ms. Burns is not in. Ms. Mashad is not in. Mr. Pfeiffer is not in. Mr. Jarrett?
Present.
You have 3 members present.
We have 3 members present. We will wait until we get a quorum. Madam Clerk. Well, I'm not the chair.
Thank you. All right. The time is now 5:44, and this special city council meeting is now being brought to order. Roll call, Madam Clerk. Pardon me, is being called back to order. Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Mr. Alamin? Dr. Lewis?
Present.
Ms. Priestley?
Present.
Ms. Winfrey Carter is not in. Ms. Burns is not in. Ms. Mashat?
Present.
Mr. Pfeiffer is not in. Mr. Jarrett?
Present.
You have 5 members present.
We have 5 members present. So now it's time for the Pledge of Allegiance. Mr. Jarrett, would you please lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance?
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Now it's time for the prayer of blessing, but before we proceed, is there anyone that would like to acknowledge someone that have transitioned? Go ahead, Mr. Garrett.
I would like to acknowledge the Johnson family, Curtis Johnson, the Marquis family, Helen, I believe it is, Marquis. And that's all. Thank you.
All right, anyone else? Go ahead,
Madam
Councilman
Chair,
Ward.
I would like to acknowledge the Coleman family and the passing of Ms. Vernita Coleman, Second Ward resident. Jan Reeves' family, Miss Esther Ross's family, and Miss Mary Keys' family.
Yes. Anyone else? All right, seeing no one else, thank you so much, Councilman, for acknowledging Mrs. Coleman, a valued resident of the Second Ward. And also, I would like for us to remember Miss Lucinda Marzette. She was a graduate of Flint Northern class in 1997, so we'd definitely like to remember her name as well. So we will have a moment of silence starting now. All right. So now we're on to the prayer of the blessing. Councilman Mashat, would you please lead us in the prayer or blessing?
If all minds are clear, Heavenly Father God, we come to you first and foremost in Jesus' name. Thank you for this day and time. Thank you for your grace, your mercy, your love, and your favor, for allowing each and every last one of us to live to see another day. We thank you that you keep us safe in our travels to our respective places. As we leave this council meeting, we ask now that the business that of the city would be handled, that it would uplift and edify both your name and the residents of the city of Flint. It is in Jesus' name we pray, amen.
All right, now it's time for the reading of the disorderly person city code subsection, and it goes as follows. Any person that persists in disrupting this meeting will be in violation of the Flint City Code Section 3110, disorderly conduct, assault and battery against disorderly persons, and will be subject to arrest for a misdemeanor. Any person who prevents the peaceful and orderly conduct of any meeting will be given one warning. If they persist in disrupting the meeting, that individual will be subject to arrest. Violators will be removed from the meetings. So, we're moving on to the public comment. First public comment, Madam Clerk.
First speaker is R.L. Mitchell.
Hello, City Councilor R.L. Mitchell. Last week, I was told that the council was concerned about why come I wasn't here. And I wondered the same thing. Why come you wasn't here? I was the first one here. You treated me like when I was a teenager, when I first moved on the south side, when I come downtown, all these big churches, they leave the door open. And I went inside, and nobody in there but me, and them burning candles. I just figured, I sit there for a while, I figured I had to light a candle and walk out the door like everybody else. And now, like the other day, our commander-in-chief had a peace talk, and then one of them so-called king lost his cool, talking about in 3 days. I can build something in 3 days. And when he said that, the commander-in-chief acted and nuked him real quick. And now he went back to Washington and turned Washington into NATO. And now they asking me I'm supposed to be in Washington right now on the bus. They said, why come you didn't get on you think that's Donald Trump place. My place is right here at City Hall to see what the budget gonna be. You get that water money. Like, we doctors don't know what we doing. Getting put sitting in my own house. I went back, they said, yeah, you better go home and stay warm, Mr. Mitchell. Right there, nobody even mentioned it. Then when I went home, I went on my front porch, and somebody said, why come you weren't at the meeting? I was in my drawers right on my front porch. I didn't know what's that. I said, man, get the dude and eating chicken bones and get up to them cats that were hanging around. The cat almost killed himself. And all right, trying to get a bone, I forget the, anyway, like I say, United States, New York, stay tuned. You see, I was doing just like they did Gaddafi. Talking peace, and all of a sudden, Gaddafi got his head blown off. The same thing, you don't threaten the President of the United States. You ain't deal with that October the 7th yet, them people, them goons in Washington, D.C. Think y'all is. That what you, and the president sitting up there in that green, whatever you got on. Hey, you look pretty good, though. Look from here, though. See that there? A big boost. I mean, whoa, hey, what's the, you better, what's the all bandage up? You see what they try to do to that? I told y'all, don't be pushing that docket. It took back 20 of them, they could, you see what I mean? And America, stay tuned, or we don't get our money or else.
Next speaker.
The next speaker is Stanley Wood.
How you doing? My name is Stanley Wood. I told you I've been going over the charter and stuff, but one thing I want to say is last Monday I didn't have the opportunity to talk at Special Affairs because the box was removed right at 4:30, not when the meeting started. And I wanted to play this for you so I'm not paraphrasing what anybody said.
Wish to address the City Council or its committees must register before the meeting begins. A box was placed at the entrance to the council chambers for a collection of registrations. No additional speakers or slips were accepted after the meeting began.
So it says after the meeting begins. It doesn't say 4:30. So I just want to make that clear. I'm not sure why, maybe you can explain to me, but 250188T, the approval of the $25,000 for Genesee Job Corps, I thought it failed in Special Affairs, but maybe we can still bring it in. Councilwoman Lewis, I have to admit, I think you were wrong. and the way you chastised Councilman Jarrett for his no vote. According to Section 3, 204, voting, line B is either a or a no. Or you can abstain from that, which goes down to D, which is abstain if the council person, but the council person must give a reason for abstaining. The other thing I noticed, I went on the City of Flint's website today to find the code 31-10, and through the City of Flint's website, through the link, 31-10 is not the disorderly conduct or disorderly person. This is called person 17 and over abiding or abetting violation. Now, 31-12 definitely is disorderly conduct and disorderly person. So either I'm wrong or the website's wrong, one of the two. I don't know which one. And if I'm wrong, I stand corrected. Councilwoman Lewis, thank you for sending me the safety plan. After going over it, the last paragraph really bothers me. It pretty much gives the police the authority to do anything they want at the end. So, and I guess that's it. I mean, I'm sure you guys know that Shalita's in the hospital from when she was arrested the other day. She is paralyzed on the right leg and partial paralyzation on the left leg. She has a broken wrist on one hand, and then she has tendon damage on the other. Whoa. But I think you guys will realize that because we need to save money for lawsuits. That's all I can say.
All right, thank you. Next speaker.
The next speaker is Michelle Y.
Hello. I think you were looking at some of my writing, so excuse me if I say the same thing. I just want to say some housekeeping things again. For our council people, can you please speak in the mic clearly when you are voting or you have comments? Also, I'm asking that you will engage with the audience. People have taken their time out to come here. Each one of you should have something that you can speak to them about instead of just speaking about the games and cleaning the yards. Speak to something that the residents have came and took the time out to speak with you about. Also, I want to talk about the sign up to speak rules. When I read the rules, it says that you have to do it prior to the speaking time. It doesn't say prior to non-quorum, like today, for an example. And I would like, to the chair, through the attorney, I would like to know if this is legally compliant for them to grab the speaking sheets prior to quorum. I would like an official documented that is the right thing to do for the citizens. The second thing, on Monday, Ms. Biggs came up and spoke, and after she spoke, it was stated that was the last speaker. So I would like to know from Davina, did she have another sign-up sheet that was not called out? And if so, that resulted in 2 arrests. Very hostile, very unfortunate, very hostile. What do we do as the community and citizens if you guys make a mistake and miss a person? What is our procedure? I would like the chair to explain, how do we let you know we were missed and we signed up? So I want to know from Davina, did she have a slip from that young lady, and if it was missed? And if it was, what are we going to do to rectify the situation with the 2 people that were arrested, because they were trying to let you guys know? Candace, in your professional opinion, professionally speaking, with the working with the water lab, I would like to know if you think that all citizens here and throughout the city, can we drink from the water, tap water, without a filter? Or in this building, can the people that work here drink without using that filter water in the hallway? In your professional opinion, because I do think you've been working for multiple years with the water tab. And can you give us an update of how many pipes have been replaced?
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Next speaker.
The next speaker is Keelani Copany.
I'm Keelani Copney, and I am 12 years old. It's time to go over the rules I've been reviewing with you again because some of you are not grasping the concepts you should have mastered back in kindergarten. It's okay, though. Repetition is vital in developing these skills, so we will keep going over them until you can demonstrate you comprehend these skills. I'm even going to give you some examples of what you have done to break these rules. 1, treat others the way you would like to be treated. Some of you have very mean and hateful attitude towards residents of this city and even towards your colleagues that sit up there with you, constantly bullying Councilman Jarrett and even being rude to Councilwoman Burns are just 2 examples. 2, when someone is speaking, listen to them and give them your full attention. That means you don't roll your eyes and look down at your phone when the community is up here voicing our concerns. It also means not whispering under the table and gossiping like children when you should have your full attention on those speaking. You want us to be quiet and pay attention when it's your turn to talk. Then you need to start leading by example and show us you are an amazing listener. 3, your tone means just as much as what you are trying to say. Liddell, you speak to others like you are a middle school bully. You don't come across as an elected leader, let alone the city council president. Candace, the condescending tone you use towards people when you are trying to remind us of the rules over and over again is why people respond to you the way they do. 4, don't tell lies. That means don't get on podcasts and on social media and tell half-truths and whole lies. If you were Pinocchio, your nose would be halfway across the city by now. As elected leaders, I expect you to behave like a professional at all times when you're in these chambers. Hopefully your vacation time allows you to review these skills, and when we come back, you will be star students.
All right, next speaker, Madam Clerk.
The next speaker is Michaela Terry.
Hi, my name is Michaela Terry. I am 13 years old, and I've been coming to council meetings since I was a baby, and I growed up and I matured more than any of y'all up there. I'm sorry. But I would like to see all of y'all mature up. And I love the way y'all talk about young people and their actions. I would love to see Liddell, Judy, and Candace grow up and mature. And thank y'all, from the bottom of my heart, thank y'all for being a great leader, leading us straight to hell.
All right, next public speaker.
The next speaker is Mari Copany.
Oh man, Liddell and Candace, not only did you not look up at my sister when she was talking, you both had the audacity to get on that YouTube podcast, which is monetized by the way, and claim you are victims of political violence, making it out like you are just 2 public servants who are working for the residents and people are out here attacking you and making money and go viral. Let's be real, the only ones sabotaging these meetings and causing chaos are you. You purposely trigger residents and then run onto social media and play victim when we respond. You made a perfect example of this behavior Monday while residents were being arrested for pointing out that they were skipped during public comment. Y'all sat up there laughing and carrying on like middle school mean girls. And Liddell, you really recorded that video to post on social media to make it out like the council people that walked out just decided to leave for no reason. But you forgot to mention that Councilwoman Burns was kicked out. You forgot to mention that they were standing in solidarity with the residents that were removed. You thought you could control that narrative, but you didn't realize that we caught you on video laughing at those being arrested and taunting the same council people that left. Let's talk about the real victims of political violence in this city, the residents that come to the council with opposing voices. There is no reason to keep half a dozen officers in here during council meetings. It is a waste of time and resources. And as they have proven, some of them are not trained in de-escalation. In fact, it seems they are being told to be more aggressive to the residents that don't get along with the mayor, police chief, and council people Liddell, Leon, Candace, and Judy. Last Wednesday, 2 residents were removed from council and immediately arrested. One ended up with a broken wrist, but Ms. Savage encountered a level of brutality that was both excessive and unwanted. Her injuries include a fractured wrist, a torn ligament in her other wrist, a head injury, and a nerve damage resulting in whatever that says in her right leg, and partial whatever on her left leg. She is still in the hospital, and doctors are saying she's looking at between 6 to 18 months before she'll be able to walk again. Is this what you wanted, Liddell? Is this what you wanted, Candace? Is this what you wanted, Leon? Is this what you wanted, Judy, to see the residents you hate to be brutalized by the police? This trend that we are seeing with weaponizing police against residents that don't agree with you is alarming, and people are terrified to step foot into these meetings. Mayor Neely, you said you want to encourage residents to make their voice heard and advocate for policies benefiting them. Well, let's start with the immediate suspension of this policy where you are arresting nonviolent people that speak up in these chambers. Let's remove the excessive amount of police and let them get back to work handling the actual criminals that are terrorizing our communities. And while we're at it, I encourage you to come to the next council meeting. And yes, I am posting this on social media for my 300,000 followers, not for clout, clicks, and views, but because the world deserves to see how the fuck y'all treat us, and get your shit together and do your fucking job.
All right, just a kind reminder. No vulgar language. Thank you. Next speaker, Madam Clerk.
The next speaker is Michael Randied.
Yes, my name is Michael Randick. I'm the president of the GLS Building Trades. I appreciate you guys calling this special meeting to order. You guys got a lot of stuff going on, and we'd like to thank you for taking your time to do that. I'm here in support of the prevailing wage that you will have in front of you to vote on. In the Prevailing Wage Act, we already have it in the state of Michigan. We have it in Genesee County. We have it through the federal government. It's called Davis-Bacon. And that wage ensures that the worker is getting the money and that the contractor is not robbing the owner and lining his pocket. It adds no cost to the construction. You actually get a better product because you are hiring the qualified workforce, because if you got to pay the guy what he's worth, you get good people, right? Everybody else, they don't like that prevailing wage because that's how the contractor steals the money and puts it in his pocket. He don't pay it to the guy out in the field. He likes to 1099, brings guys in from out of the country or out of the state, right? Makes him an independent contractor, and your work product reflects that. So, again, I want to thank you, and I appreciate anything you guys can do in support of the prevailing wage. Thank you.
Thank you. Next speaker, Madam Clerk.
The next speaker is LaShawn Johnson.
Good afternoon. My name is LaShawn Johnson. I am a third ward write-in for Third Ward. We had a meeting today, a community conversational meeting today at the mini station on ML King, where we had great speakers, talked about youth programs and different jobs that they are providing for our youth. The meeting was wonderful, and we like to invite the next. We have another meeting in July on the 30th from 5:30 to 7:30. We would like to invite the Third Ward residents out to be able to hear some of the resources that we gather for them. Also, I got a call not too long before I got here about that there are trees on Marvin and Edwin. About 4 trees failed, and they're over the city parking lot. So we will be making some calls. I don't know if you guys can help us get the trees up. They filled like 3 in one yard and 2 in another yard. Are we able to help assist us in getting these trees up and clear the sidewalks for the residents to be able to get through, and that we can provide safety for our residents in the 3rd Ward in the city of Flint? Again, let's keep Flint strong and let's stay positive, and let's just, think about peace. We need to be about peace. We need to encourage one another to talk about peace. We can't get up here. We don't want the adults to be bullied. As students and children, we shouldn't bully either. We shouldn't use profanity, because my kids cannot use profanity, and my youngest is 19. That is not an acceptable behavior, because if you were in school, they would suspend you for using disrespect and cussing at the teachers. So we shouldn't be up here as being young people cussing at the panel, the council people up here. So the same respect that you're asking for, you should give the same respect in return. Because as when I talk to my students on my bus, my students want respect. But I'm gonna give them the same respect. I'm gonna give them that respect. I will not cuss at my students, nor can my students cuss at me. Thank you, and let's keep Flint strong.
Thank you. Thank you. And next speaker, please, Madam Clerk.
The next speaker is Arthur Woodson.
I have to say this. Shouldn't have direct comments at the kids, man. It's freedom of speech. I done seen parents allow their kids cuss at the dinner table. Just because you don't do it doesn't mean someone else can't do it neither. That peace stuff, everybody should get along. Man, skip what Rodney King said. In politics, nobody's gonna get along. You're gonna have differences. That's the thing here. And everybody's talking about unity. I will not unite with those 4 over on that side. Jonathan, I trust your opinion. It's your decision. You're your own person. Me, myself, I wouldn't even been here, because of the simple fact, the police, the clerk, and the attorney is working with those 4. And until they do right by the people who comes in here to support your 4, I wouldn't stand here and sit here and watch them arrest people every meeting. I want to understand why at the regular meetings, the organization isn't the first thing. Y'all supposed to be voting for the president and the vice president first before every regular meeting. Why isn't that done? Y'all haven't voted for a president yet. Y'all still supposed to be voting for a president at the regular meeting. When the 5 votes get here in August, Dumas or Ms. Beverly Biggs, the first thing y'all should vote on is garnishing the mayor's pay. He is frivolously appealing court cases, so that he does not have to lie at a deposition, because he can't help but lie. Soon as he sit down, he's gonna lie. Liddell, you probably would have heard Ray Barton if you wouldn't have got up and walked out on the family of Lamar and Zaire Mitchell, the 2 little boys that burned in the fire on Pulaski Street, where Mayor Neely tried to make Barton lie. If you wouldn't have got up and walked out, you would have heard that. $225,000 he has to pay because he fired Chief Barton. Neely is a liar, and for y'all to pass anything on here for Neely is upsetting, because he politics with public money. Not everybody that works in his office, but the majority of the people that works down there our campaign people for him. He paid through public dollars.
And thank you, Madam Clerk. Next speaker.
The final speaker for this meeting is Beverly Biggs Levy.
My name is Beverly Biggs Levy. I am running for the 3rd Ward City Council seat. My thing is, what are we going to do of the corruption that's going on in Flint? There's a lot of corruption, a lot at the city council. This is where they pulled my husband out of his vehicle. They didn't care about what was going on. They just pulled him out. You talking about cutting grass? I'm talking about corruption. Corruption in this city. The police brutality. The mayor saying that if we had a protest, it would be peaceful. That's corruption. What about the roofs that people need on their house? What about windows and doors? That's what I'm looking for. Cutting grass, it's good, but what about the corruption? There's a lot of it's going on. You know, transparent today, trust tomorrow. We need help in this city of taking care of our people. Our people is lacking, and they come up here to speak to you guys, and like they say, you never pay it any attention, you never respond back. It's time to respond back on what we need to do. $94 million came to the city of Flint, and we ain't at no stage. So, the same thing came to Saginaw. They at stage 4. There is a lot of things that's going on in this city, and those that's taking the money, you can't even hold your head up because you're crooks. Let's talk about the crookedness in this city. It's a lot going on, starting from the mayor and going on down. And you four, don't think that you're not in it. You're in it real bad. It's sad. We need our people to get up, to stand up for all this corruption. Neely need to step down. Chief Green need to step down. You guys really need to step down. But you'll stay here to the bitter end. I am running for the 3rd Ward City Council seat, August the 5th. And God, what God has for me, guess what? It's for me. You guys have a blessed day.
All right, Madam Clerk, did I hear that was the last speaker?
That's correct.
All right, thank you. So now, public comment is now closed, and now we are opening up the floor for council comment. Does any colleague have anything to say?
Madam Chair.
All right, go ahead, Mr. Jarrett.
Thank you. Want to thank all that are in attendance that decided to come out tonight to see about the business of the city of Flint. Excuse me. This otherwise would be respite for the council. But we are where we are. I am here tonight because there are some resolutions that are on the agenda that I believe should be passed before the end of the month for the benefit of the residents and the city of Flint. So I'm here to get that work done. There are resolutions too that are on the agenda that I don't believe, well, I am not in a position tonight to vote yes on. Those resolutions I will separate from the consent agenda, and I guess we otherwise might go from there. But I'm here to do what I believe is the right thing for me, sitting in the seat representing the residents of the 9th Ward. For me, it's not about what otherwise gets looked at as 4-4, what have you. I'm here for my 9th Ward residents and those beyond the 9th Ward.
All right. Anyone else?
Madam Chair,
Go ahead, Ms. Priestley.
I want to appreciate the fact that you are studying the charter. We've all gone through it, and our city attorney does work with all sides. They just have to reach out. Also, if there is a mistake in the disorderly person's code number, that's probably been copied and pasted for years and not verified. I also want to address our youth, that we are the adults and you are the children, and we are due respect. My name is Councilwoman Priestley, or Miss Priestley, not Judy to you.
Yep, we have 2 mornings in the front row. Okay. Proceed, Ms. Priestley.
So I appreciate the residents coming up and sharing their concerns. And also, if there is corruption, I have yet to hear where there is corruption or where there is proof where there is corruption. They like to throw the word around, but can't pinpoint a single issue that is true of that. So I would like that information. And I would hope that the residents of the 3rd Ward understand that you must have truth to back up what you say. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Anyone else?
Madam Chair,
Go ahead, Ms. Ellerman.
I'd just like to say thank you to everyone in attendance for sharing your concerns and your thoughts. Really appreciate it. I definitely do hear you. And I do follow up with folks when you do have concerns. May not always in the public setting, but I do make my follow-ups if you have some concerns that's addressing any issues in the 1st Ward. And if it's not in the 1st Ward, I take calls from other residents and assist sometimes when they can't get to their other council people as well. But I'm also here to help in any kind of way that I can. It's just all about engagement and how we engage individuals. As it was said earlier, you know, we all human beings and we all grown. So if you approach a person in the right way, a lot of times you'll get a different response. And so I hope we can begin to work on that, on our communications, and a lot of things could get done. Thank you.
Officers, you may be needed by the elevators. All right. Thank you. Sorry about that. Is that your time, Mr. Alamin? Oh, all right, great. Anyone else?
Madam Chair.
Go ahead, Ms. Mashat.
All right. So I do want to do a couple of things. I want to thank the Blight team. I also want to thank streets, traffic, and trees, everybody who deals with those areas in the city. Over in the 7th Ward, there was a hotel, we haven't talked about it much, but the old, I think it was old Howard Johnson, and it had been a problem for years. Fires, all kind of, it just has been a hazard and a danger, and it's very close to a neighborhood. And so that has been taken care of. That hotel is no longer standing. I want to thank the Blight team especially, though, because on Tebow and Lippincott, and I've been talking about it for a whole year, there was a sidewalk that was there my entire life growing up, and for whatever the reason, over a decade now, there had not been a sidewalk going across Lippincott and then on one side of Tebow. But now if you drive over there, you will see that there is now a sidewalk. Residents have not had a sidewalk in over a decade, so they do now have a sidewalk over on Tebow and Lippincott. There's just a few more maintenance things that have to be done to that sidewalk, but it is something that can be used, so you do not have to walk close to the street any longer. There's also a box there that we are going to get consumers to work on to make sure that they cover and close that box over. I do want to address I believe there was a resident, and I hope it wasn't because you were trying to have a gotcha moment. I hope you were being sincere and genuine. No, do not drink this water without a filter. Even when the EPA did the all clear, I don't know if you saw the meeting, but I commented then that you need to still have a filter. I know a lot of people are still going to buy bottled water. I am going to still buy bottled water. And so I'm not going to tell you to do something that I would not do. Now, I understand, because I've explained several times, that this is heavily tested water. So while the water that comes into your home may be fine, that the plumbing and the fixtures are damaged, which, by the way, visit the front desk at City Hall to figure out how we can maybe help you get that replaced. But because of those things, use a filter. Thank you.
All right, thank you so much. And so, since I'm the last one, I will take my time. I want to give a special thank you to every single colleague that came out today to do the work. Definitely appreciate it. Thank you for doing the job that we signed up to do. Thank you for taking care of the residents. Although we have outsiders, people that are not in these seats, encouraging others not to come to work, some may listen, but thank you for you all that decided to show up to do, not the mayor's business, but this is the people's business. And when I say the people's business, I'm referring to, we're talking about getting a fair wage for employees here. Thank you all, gentlemen, so much for coming. We hear you, we support you, because that's what it's all about, fair wages. This is the work of the people, definitely not of the mayor. Passing the money for Job Corps, that is the work of the people, of our residents, not the mayor. And also the majority of the things, I'll say everything in here, this is for the people, not the mayor. It is not for the mayor to act, it is for us to act. If the mayor's going to act, why have a council? We can stay home. So we will continue to show up and do the work of the people. Furthermore, I hear Arthur Woodson keep talking about I walked out. I just want to make this clear for the record for the 55th time. That night that we were here to midnight, I had a parent meeting to attend that morning. And so as parent of the year, I had to be at my son's school early in the morning. And so it's unfortunate that we had colleagues prolonging a meeting when we could have got to them earlier that night, like around 6 o'clock, 8 o'clock. But we had colleagues thinking that it was fun to stay here like this is the nightclub. Not so. So I will not forsake my parental responsibilities for my children to stay here for political theater. I'm not doing it. But also, too, I also want to comment on Ms. Biggs-Levy. We definitely hear you and your complaints, but not one solution. We hear you talk about corruption, but no receipt. We hear you talk about people's breasts, people's foreheads, people's parents, but no solutions. I encourage you to get busy. Thank you. And so with that being said,
Madam Chair.
Go ahead.
I would like to respond to some of the speakers, if you would allow me that courtesy.
I didn't hear that. Say it again.
I would like to respond to some of the speakers, if you would allow me that courtesy.
Absolutely. Let's make sure that we hear you loud and clear, Ms. Donahue, so they can hear you loud and clear.
Okay. I want to first say that these meetings are the meetings of the Flint City Council. I am not on this body. Oftentimes, people will come up and make comments directly to me. I do not respond because this is not the meeting for me to respond. I'm not on this body. If you ever have any question or inquiry, you can contact me directly in my office. Also, I want to point out that as far as I'm concerned, and what I've always believed is that the clerk is independent of the mayor, the council. I believe that there are 4 separate entities in the city of Flint. That would be the administration, the council, the clerk, and the ombudsperson. I do not work or answer to anyone. What I do answer to are the rules, Robert's rules, the charter, the code. No one knows how I feel about any of these rules because professionally, I don't make my opinion known because my opinion really doesn't matter. I have to follow them whether I agree with what they are or not, and that's what I've always done. So having said that, I just want to point out to the gentleman as far as the 3110 and the disorderly persons ordinance on the website, when you go to the code, there is a section that says Flint overview. So the ordinances that have been adopted since the charter was last codified are listed separately. The codification is being updated, so it is on there. You just have to know where to look. So that is the right section. It's being worked on now. Hopefully that should be done within the next couple of months so that the code is updated to make it current. And also, the other thing, as far as the speaker slip, for the record, I want to let it be known that I did have a speaker slip, number 15. However, it was illegible. I couldn't read it at all. And if you will notice, what I've made a practice of doing lately is I'll always say, the last speaker is. We've asked you not to come up to us, but if someone had approached me and said, come up and point it out, you didn't call 15, we could have straightened it out. When they said it from the back, I was about to say, I do have one, but before I could say anything, everything just broke loose. So I would have rectified the situation because I could not read the writing. And the council is emphasizing that the slips be filled out in their entirety correctly. But, I mean, it was impossible to read what was there. So I could have and would have gladly straightened everything out, but before I could even say anything, everything had happened. And I also want to say that I can't be responsible for how somebody reacts to that. Again, as soon as the person said it the first time, I was about to say something, but then we had about 10 people yelling it out at the same time. And then they were called to order and everything else. So for the record, I just want that to be known as well. Thank you, Madam Chair, for allowing me that.
Absolutely.
Through the
And-
chair, it's the city attorney.
Go ahead.
Thank you. To also reiterate what Clerk Donahue stated, the ordinance for 3110 is listed under new legislation. It is number 4075. So you go under new legislation, scroll down to ordinance number 4075, and it lists 3110, which was renumbered during the emergency manager era, and that was revised on March 31st of 2016. Thank you.
All right, and thank you so much, City Attorney. And I just want to reemphasize what the clerk basically just said is stop being disorderly. Okay, so if you are acting like a grown-up that follows the rules, you don't yell out from the back. We can address your concerns, but when you become disorderly, all bets are off and you will be brought to order. And so now that that's established, we will go ahead and move on with the rest of the meeting. And
Through the chair, is the meeting
Yes.
still continuing?
Absolutely, the
Okay.
meeting is still continuing.
Thank you.
All right, we still 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. All right. So now we are on the consent agenda. What's the pleasure of the body? Go ahead, Ms. Priestley.
I make a motion to approve the consent agenda.
All right, there's a motion to approve, and it's supported by the councilman in the first ward. Any separations?
Madam Chair,
Go ahead, Mr. Jarrett.
on page 4, 250182. On page 5, 250188.
Hold on. So I just want to be clear. You said on page 4, which one was it?
250182.
Okay.
On page 5, 250188. On page 11, 250218 and 250220.
All right, any more separations? All right, so seeing that there's no more separations, we will go ahead and call for the vote to pass the remainder of the agenda. And the items that are separated per Mr. Jarrett are Resolution 250182, Resolution 250188, Resolution 250, almost there. 250218 and 250220. All of those are separated, and the rest will pass in the consent agenda with the approval of the minutes with any corrections. Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Mr. Alamin?
Yes.
Dr. Lewis?
Yes.
Ms. Priestley? Yes. Ms. Winfrey Carter is not in. Ms. Burns is not in. Ms. Mashat? Yes. Mr. Pfeiffer is not in. Mr. Jarrett?
Yes.
The vote is 5 yes, 0 no.
The vote is 5 yes, 0 no. So the consent agenda
Madam Chair.
passes. Oh, yes. Go ahead, Mr. Jarrett.
Motion to adjourn.
There's a motion to adjourn. Any support? Okay, that motion fails. So now we will move on to resolution.
Madam Chair,
Yeah, go ahead.
we have items that are separated. There are people here to speak about the prevailing wage, so I would ask that we all sit here so that we could hear from those who have a vested interest as they've taken their time to come here this evening.
Okay, thanks. So Mr. Jarrett, we're asking you to please not walk out. So if you could please hear from our guests that are here to speak about prevailing wage. We know that you stated that you need more information, and they're here to give you more information. So we can please continue our agenda, Mr. Jarrett. All right, Mr. Jarrett. We understand that you don't want to stay for the rest of the meeting. So now, the time is now 6:34, and because the councilman in the 9th Ward broke quorum, this special city council meeting is now adjourned. Thank you. Have a great evening.
But you know what? We got the business, we got stuff done. Oh, I gotta close this damn thing down. I keep forgetting. Where are you going? Soccer? Who's playing?
I don't know. This got invited international game, and I'm in that.
I'm gonna go home and play Stars and Stripes. I'm gonna go home and practice Stars and Stripes on the piccolo.
Well, tonight I'm gonna water my eggplant.
How is that? How are they doing? Good. You're welcome. I've got some sweet potatoes left, but I don't think there's time. I mean, if you drive by, I can give you what I've got left.